Hello, everyone. My name is Tim B. Green, and this is Crush It Club, episode 54, the 7 levers of influence, scarcity. So scarcity is like it sounds. I'm going to tell an off-color joke about this. If you don't like it, you probably shouldn't watch. So many years ago, my friend, who was pretty darn funny, said something that, a teenage high school boy might say. Sex is like air. It's most important when you're not getting any. But it's funny, and it really does capture the essence of scarcity. Just like here, these plants, if you don't have a lot of plants, if there's a drought and you don't have a lot of water, now plants are more valuable, water is more valuable. The other example of this is gold, which is valuable for two reasons, and that's because it's rare and because it's really useful. It can be pounded into sheets. It can be put into wires. It's conductive. It's reflective. It doesn't oxidize. It's used in technology and stuff, as well as jewelry and as a means of exchange. So it's both rare and has value in terms of utility. It's rare in its properties, not just in its abundance. You can use both of these. Before I get to that, there's something else that's rare, and that is I am upcoming speaker in the summit itself is already going, and they have scheduled talks, including today. My talk will be in approximately 27 hours from when I post this, and it's called the Marketing Success Summit. My talk is on February 24th at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So it will be live at that time. Would love to see you there. Please join me to learn something about all 7 levers of influence, and in particular, the liking lever. So into this other stuff, scarcity is related to, but not the same as loss aversion. They kind of get messed together because one is related to the other. I'll talk about loss aversion tomorrow, but today it's all about scarcity. So scarcity, or the perception of scarcity, causes people to value, want, and rate things more favorably than they otherwise would compared to more abundant items, right? So if you have lots of water, water doesn't seem very valuable until you're in a desert and you're running out of it, in which case, terrible time to pour tea, right? In which case it suddenly becomes very valuable because you don't have it. So the essence of this is while supplies last. And that gets me into ways to truthfully and ethically use scarcity in your marketing. Some things are unlimited, like saying you have a limited number of copies of your ebook is just laughable, and nobody is stupid enough to believe that. You can, however, provided you actually do what you say you're going to do, add a type of scarcity even to that. But if you lie about it, if you're not truthful, you'll lose your prospects and your ongoing customers, which will probably not be so anymore. You'll lose their trust immediately and probably forever. There's lots of examples of people online who do that, famous people who say, this will be gone tomorrow, and then they say, I changed my mind. And I didn't believe them the first time I heard their voice. Even before they said that nonsense, I could just smell it. So let's talk about how you can do something called that Cialdini talks about in the book, of which inspired these 7 and my talk that's coming up on the Marketing Success Summit. And that is, and I will put those details, by the way, in the description, in the link in the description of this video. So that is what he called, I think he called it compound scarcity. Yeah. So it's compound scarcity, whatever he called it. That's what I'm calling it. And so what you can do to produce compound scarcity, even on a product like mine, which is consulting, so it's basically time and expertise, which by definition are finite. There's a limited amount of time I have to consult with people. So that would be one example. But we're going to start with one of four, and that is countdown pricing. That is especially when you're introducing a product, if you want to get momentum or hype around the new product, what you could do is you could have a period of time, and lots of things do this. I know AppSumo does this. You get a lifetime deal for a limited time, and then the price goes up. And then as that company grows, assuming it succeeds, it then becomes subscription product, and you have to pay that amount every month forever to keep that product. So that's an example of countdown pricing. Though I think there's even more effective ways to do that, where you just have a block of time where the pricing changes over time. You could literally make it into even days. And I think there's a good reason, and I'll talk about at the end, why you should do that instead of doing for 10 days it will be this price and 10 days it'll be this price. To have a more continuous type of countdown is good, because that kicks in both loss aversion and a greater sense of scarcity, because the abundance is being reduced. There's less and less of it. Therefore, the perception, according to the principle or the lever of scarcity, the perception of the value is going to increase as the supply decreases. Supply and demand, right? So that's one way you can do it, is just have it get more expensive, have what I call countdown pricing. The other one is if you have an online product, you could have, you only have a limited amount of live one-to-one interactions or classes, and because they need your attendance, you to be there, if it's, again, consulting as the example, then it is truly limited, and people recognize it as limited, which is, of course, a type of scarcity, and that gives it more value. The next one is limited offers only for the first 100 signups. Now, this could be any arbitrary number, but if you do have, say, a summit like I'm talking about, I'm not the organizer of the summit, but the organizer can and probably did say, if you attend the summit early, there will be bonuses. There is, I know, some giveaways. Some of them are coming from myself, so I know they're available, but they are of a limited quantity too. So that's the other thing you can do. And then last, which is just a limited time deal. I know these are a lot the same, but they're not the same. And that's an important distinction. And that's a limited time deal where you say, this product will it be available for X time, and then not again for a period of time. Many people would say, this is the only time I'm doing this, and once this is gone, it's gone forever. And I personally, and I'm suspecting you also don't believe that, because if it's really successful, they'll bring it back. They'll give it a different name. And then if you ever get exposed to that, you realize that they're just full of crap and you kind of knew it all along. And out goes trust and long-term relationship. So instead, if you're going to give a limited time deal, mean it. And you could just have a product, a course, a seminar, a physical product that you sell for a certain period of time, after which you stop sales for a month or a quarter or 6 months. It doesn't mean you can't sell different products during that time, but it means you're going to trigger scarcity, in that in that case, the scarcity is time to purchase the product, but also loss aversion, because by failing to act, it creates urgency, so they're more likely to buy it. And if they don't, they have to wait 3 months, and people hate doing that. So there's that. So in all of these cases, I would encourage you to use a continuous or near continuous analog style countdown timer, where it gets less and less and less all the time. But I would also encourage you to not have that timer or that countdown of whatever type, that countdown meter, visible until you've already made, say, 25 to 50% of your sales. Because if you have 100% left and it sits there for a long time, now that shows no demand and your sense of scarcity goes away. But if somebody has already bought, if when people first see it, and I would be 100% truthful about this, by the way, when somebody first sees it, they see it's already at 75%, 75% left or 25% sold, and then they see progress on that timer going down. That means this, while supplies last, the scarcity is increasing, and therefore the urgency and the perceived value is likewise increasing. So if you can literally show singular sales or singular hours or singular minutes, like a countdown timer, that demonstrates a type of scarcity and helps drive sales. I'm already over time. That's it for Crush It Club 54, Scarcity, the 7 levers of influence. My name is Tim B. Green. Bye for now.